Dear future me, I'm back at it again, recording videos at 2 a.m. Apologies for the low energy, but I am quite tired, and like I said, it is 2 a.m. But I had a couple realizations today about how I make music, and I thought it was super helpful and insightful as I was reflecting on it. And it's crazy, this always happens to me. Like, I get out of the shower and I just have all these thoughts, and I do all this like emotional processing, and I just realize so much. So I wanted to document it for myself for the future. Apologies if I'm slurring, dude. I'm actually getting really tired, but I'll try to do my best. I have my notes over here. The first point I want to mention is I'm actually so glad that I have my day job to fill up the majority of my time, and I can do my music like in my free time, in my spare time, because as much as I like feel like my work tires me out, I'm very fortunate in the sense that it doesn't get me to the point where I don't want to do anything. Like I think it's happened a couple times this past week, to be honest, though, like where I've gotten so exhausted I didn't want to do anything after. But I think to some degree it hasn't like been as torturous as like my old job, because the work I'm doing I'm actually interested in, and a lot of it is honestly self-inflicted, and I feel like emotionally secure if I you know, like I don't know what I mean, what I'm trying to say here, but basically, I have emotional security in this job. Like, I feel like I'm the owner of my own time. Like, I report to my boss, sure, but like he gives me a lot of autonomy, and so I feel like psychologically safe. I don't feel like I'm behind. I don't feel like I'm like underperforming or anything like that. So I guess that's a really great headspace to be in that allows me to actually take action on my hobbies and music stuff on the side and making videos like this. So I think that's one important thing to call out. That wasn't the main point I wanted to bring up by saying actually like having a day job. Going into the point a little more, gosh, it's really, the tiredness is really getting to me. So bear with me, myself, future me, bear with me. Um, I think one thing I really realized was, I look around as I'm doing things day to day, and I'm like, wow, my house is a mess, but I'm okay with that. I'm really okay with that. And I'm actually glad. The reason I thought about that was because I thought about, wow, if I like didn't have a job, I feel like I would spend so much time like cleaning the house and like tidying up and doing everything perfect and like making sure everything's in order and every, thing has its place or whatever, dusting every time or whatever. And it's almost like Sisyphus's boulder, or what is it called? Sisyphus's curse or whatever, like Sisyphus and the boulder. He's like pushing the boulder up the hill and it just keeps rolling down and he's just like pushing uphill forever. And I kind of thought about that where I was like, yeah, I kind of have accepted that I'm not going to be able to have a pristine house. Or like, okay, look, here's the thing. It's a trade-off, right? Like, yeah, sure, I could have a pristine house. Yeah, I could have folded laundry every time I do it. And like I could dust every week or whatever the fuck to have like a beautiful house. But then I wouldn't fucking get anything else done. I'm just going to be doing that this whole time. So it's kind of, I guess what I'm trying to say here is I think having a day job has allowed me to be hyper focused and doing the most impactful things when it comes to like my creative endeavors. And I've heard this, I gotta admit, I can't take full credit for that idea. I've heard it on some podcasts. I bet it was like an Ali Abdaal podcast or something, but it's so true. I'm living it out right now. Like, I'm using my spare time in the most impactful ways as I can because I realize like I have limited time. I need to do the most. I need to get the most value out of my time as possible. So I'm not gonna spend it. If I don't feel like fucking folding my laundry, I'm just gonna throw it in a clean hamper. I don't need to fold it. Like fuck it. It doesn't really matter, honestly. I'm just gonna go through it again next week, and I'm gonna do more laundry, and it's gonna like as long as it's not like detrimenting me, like it can wait. I think that's the key right there. It's not that I won't do it or that I don't allow myself to or whatever. I think the reason I'm calling this out is because in the past I would like beat myself up about not doing it, or I would feel stressed about it, or I would feel anxious that I have laundry sitting around or whatever in a hamper that was unfolded. Whereas now I'm like, look, that is my conscious decision. Like, I'm gonna edit my video. I'm gonna work on music instead of doing this. So that makes me feel so secure in just leaving it there because I'm like, yeah, like you don't have all fucking day. You have a day job. You got to take care of yourself. You got to do the bare minimum maintenance of like fucking feeding yourself, taking a shower, bathing, all this shit. you're not gonna have time to do everything, dude. So like chill. Like, and yeah, I've accepted it, and I'm really like, like treating myself well about it. Like I just look at it and I go, okay, yeah, it's gonna be there. It's the trade-off you're making. It's the decision you're making, and that's okay. And so I'm really glad that my job can help me kind of realize that. And again, like I said, it's not an original idea. I heard it from the podcast, but it's just funny because I'm recognizing the pattern in my own life. And it's really cool to see that because it just shows me like, yeah, those videos are helping. And I really find value in listening to these podcasts. So anyways, that was the first thing I realized, and something I kind of thought about when I was like getting out of the shower. I was like, wow, yeah, because I have like a bunch of skincare shit that's just like sitting on my counter in my bathroom, and I'm like, wow, that's a mess. But I'm like, I don't really want to deal with it right now. I have other stuff I want to do instead, and that can sit there. It can sit on my counter. It's not a big deal. Anyways, yeah, that was the first point. Let me see what else there is. Yeah, and basically I just kind of pointed out in the notes that I spend my energy doing the things that I want to do the most. Not necessarily, and that's the thing. I don't want to get into that trap again of saying the most important thing. I do the things that I personally want to do the most, that in my mind are highest priority. Um, and I think that's an important distinction because what I want to do versus what's important, I think are two different things, right? And oh man, there's another TikTok I think I saw. Like somebody said like you shouldn't be telling yourself like parenting yourself like, "Oh, do the most important thing. You should do this. You should do this." You should instead ask yourself, "What do you want to do?" Because oh no, it was something about like what do you feel like doing and what do you want to do? Because what I want to do is like or sorry, what I feel like doing is like could be a destructive or like bad habit. It's like I feel like laying around and scrolling TikTok for 5 hours. What I want to do actually is to record a video and edit or whatever. Like I'm not saying that happened to me, but that's like a hypothetical, like, talking through that kind of thought process. The what do you feel like doing versus what do you want to do? Anyways, unrelated. I think I'm tangenting. That's just something I remembered, so I wanted to call it out. But here's on to the next point. I've experienced it in the past. I had that period of being unemployed, and I knew what it felt like to have all the time in the world to work on music. And guess what? I was fucking uninspired because I just had so much time on my hands. All I was doing was music 24/7, so I didn't have any fucking inspiration. And I think what I wrote down here was I have thoughts and other feelings aside from music that give me stuff to write about. That's so true. And that's part of why I really like having my day job right now because I fucking experience things throughout the day or like I'll have these thoughts outside of like music that inspire me to write. Like tonight, I wrote a song and I just thought about how was I feeling and what was I thinking about, what's been bothering me recently, and that is what I used as my fuel to write. And luckily, this isn't the toxic fuel that I used to use in the past. That's my own phrase. I made up toxic fuel because in the past I would go through something really shitty or like hurtful and I would be really like bummed about it. And I would write kind of as a therapeutic like way to cope with it. But in this time, like today when I wrote, it was more just like, I guess it's still kind of therapeutic in a way where it was something that was bothering me, but it wasn't like I wasn't depressed about it. It was just an observation about myself, or it was just me kind of processing my emotions. I think that's the best, healthiest way to describe that. It was me processing my emotions. It wasn't me like sulking in it or feeling sorry for myself or feeling bummed. It was just me processing my emotions. So anyways, I thought that was really helpful to recognize that working a day job gives me other things to think about than music, which then gives me motivation to make music. Which then makes the music writing feel very natural and organic because it's just stream of consciousness. It's just like flowing out of me. I'm not sitting down and forcing myself and being fucking regimented about it and be like, you gotta write for 30 minutes. I hate that shit. I'm sorry. I really don't like that. Anyways, I'm also very loopy right now. Kind of, the tiredness is really hitting me. So maybe I will take that back later. But in this moment, I'm being very unfiltered and not thinking too much. So anyways, that's what it is. Lastly, let me try to wrap up. I got 3 more points. So I'll just kind of read it verbatim. I'm very lucky to have a job where I can wake up later and work later. That feels like the right schedule to me, and I want to work with my tendencies rather than against them. I tend to be more creative at night, and I feel better about that. Maybe it has to do with my intermittent fasting schedule too. Even right now, I'm writing this at 1:53 a.m. Yeah, so that's so true. I think I'm very fortunate with my job where I can start my day at like, this is really late, but like I'll wake up at like 9:30 sometime. Okay, most of the time, who am I kidding? Most of the time I'll wake, like when I'm working from home, I'll wake up at 9:30 and my first meeting of the day is at 10, which is like our stand up. And so I'm so lucky I can start my day that late. But obviously I'll work later to make up for it. But I think just for me, it just feels better because I don't know. I've tried the whole waking up early in the morning thing, and yeah, it was good for a time, and I think I was like able to keep it up. But at the same time, though, I don't know if it was like a I don't know if it had to do with the diet. That's why I kind of mentioned that at the end, but I'll kind of start with this. I remember feeling like in the mornings, like if I wake up super early, I'm like counting down the fucking minutes or seconds until my meal. That's all I can think about because I'm so fucking hungry. Whereas if I stay up late, I'm not thinking about food because I have like a full belly from food. So I don't know. Maybe that is really it. But anyways, I think the point about like me being like more productive at night is, yeah, I don't know. I get in this kind of like loopy state like I am in right now where I'm kind of tired and I'm not really like doubting myself as much and I'm not really thinking much. I'm just kind of like unfiltered taking action on shit. Especially like this video right now is a perfect example of that. I'm kind of just stream of consciousness. But also, now that I think about it as I'm talking out loud, I think the food thing really is a big one because yeah, in the mornings if I wake up early, I no matter how big of a dinner I eat, I would have been fasted at that point. And so trying to do work fasted in the morning is just kind of treacherous. It kind of fucking hurts. So yeah, I think maybe that's why like late nights feel better for me. And look, I don't want to get into that shit of like, oh, I'm a night owl, whatever, blah blah blah. I can mold myself to whatever I need to be or want to be. Okay, I think in this case, it's just the way that I set up my eating schedule is affecting my productivity, my creativity. Um, so yeah, anyways, just taking a moment to recognize and appreciate that my job allows me to wake up late and work late because that is the schedule that works best for me. And surprisingly, I even kind of tend to follow the same sleeping schedule even when I'm not working. Okay, today's the exception. Obviously, I'm fucking sleeping at 2 a.m., but that's because I felt motivated to make a video. And also, it's Friday, so like I want to fucking scroll TikTok and shit. So, obviously I slept later. But like in terms of like I don't know, like quote unquote normal days, like when I am not working, what am I talking about? Oh my god, that's such a weird way to say my weekend. Normal weekends, I feel like I tend to sleep and wake at the same time as I do during the weekdays. And it kind of happens naturally. Anyways, yeah, I think that's Oh, sorry, I keep hiccuping and burping. Yeah, that's a good thing about my job. Really love my job. Okay, I'm gonna try to wrap this up. I'm fading here. I'm falling asleep. Okay, last point I want to talk about. This is kind of getting in the weeds about my music writing process, and I think this is important to kind of remind myself of. And maybe I'll re-record this in the future because I'm fucking blurry right now. But I have this kind of storytelling songwriting technique. And when I say storytelling, I'm not trying to tell the listener a story. I'm literally retelling myself something as if I am the audience of my own story, and then I turn that into lyrics. So what I mean by that is I will, in the past, right? In the past, I kind of thought about like, okay, what do I want to write about? And then I would focus so hard of like, okay, like what sounds good here and what word fits there and blah blah blah. And I think I nailed down the aspect of like, okay, what melody do I want and like what cadence do I want and things like that. This specific technique I'm talking about is around finding the words to replace the melody that I sing. And I think I've kind of gotten more reassurance about my technique too, because it'll start with gibberish. And you might hear plenty of artists say this whenever they're writing. They'll just like hum or, say gibberish like, blah, 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 and they'll like make up stuff and they'll find the melody first and then they'll replace it with the words after. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm at that stage. I have my melody already done. I have my cadence and stuff already. I have the song structure done. I'm at that last step where I'm putting words to replace the melody. The method that I use, and like I said, I coined it myself, like the storytelling method or whatever. I literally think about the scenario I'm writing about, and I go, okay, what's my thought process at the beginning of this? The thought process at the beginning is blah, 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 like A, okay? And then it's like, okay, and then what happens after A. Like, I'm literally asking myself this internally. Like, as I'm writing, I'm like asking myself what comes next in the story or in the thought process. So, for example, I don't know. I'll make okay. In this state of mind, I can't make up a hypothetical, so I might have to pull from a real example. So, the real example I'll use is like, okay, how did this friendship start? This friendship started great. We were really hitting off. We were having a great time. And then what happened next? Well, we started to get to know each other more, and this person started to show signs of like being a bad friend, and I kind of ignored them. So, I let it play out and I continued talking with them. And, as I'm telling myself this story of the sequence of events, like I'm turning that into lyrics. So it's like I don't really lose steam about like what I'm writing because I'm literally just retelling my own story to myself and then translating that into words in a song, if that makes sense, right? So for example, I'll have like I don't know. Fuck, I can't think right now. Sorry. I'm not even gonna try. I'm not even gonna embarrass myself to try to write something, but you know what I mean? Like I have the melody and I have the syllables I want. I have the, like da 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 da, and then I take a story from my life, turn that into something that fits the song. Okay, that was a terrible explanation. I think I'll get the point. Future me, I think you will understand what I'm saying. I'm just fucking getting tired. So, yeah, I think you'll understand that. Stream of consciousness. Oh, one other point I want to make about that. According to my calculations, that was a bad joke. One last point I want to make about that. I find the really valuable thing about me writing this way is I feel like these thoughts and emotions and struggles that I'm going through are not unique to me. And so it helps me, at least in my mind, it helps me write lyrics that are relatable because I'm just feeling these emotions and thoughts and whatever. And if I'm writing honestly and authentically, I'm sure somebody out there is going to listen to that or, hear the words or read the words and be like, damn, I feel that. Like, I relate to that. So, yeah, I don't know. That's my style, dude. Everything about it just fits me because it's like, look, I'm not having to think about it too much because I'm drawing from my real life and I'm not having to like make shit up or fabricate shit out of thin air. It's like I'm just retelling what I already experienced. It's nothing new. I'm just observing and then like processing that and then turning it into something else. And actually, it's funny. I realized like every song I've done has like released that. Every song I've released has been that formula. And I've written songs out of thin air from scratch before, and those felt very like sterile and inauthentic to me. And I don't know, I just don't prefer to write that way. Like I can make it work, but I have to put a lot more effort and a lot more force into it. It doesn't feel as natural. So I don't know if my whole goal is to make music writing or songwriting like sustainable and organic and be able to like do it effortlessly. I think this is my method. I think this is my technique. Okay, if you saw a cut right there, it's because I was thinking for like 3 minutes and I could not remember what I was going to say. But anyways, I think that will be the end of this video. Hopefully this made some sense because I'm very delusional right now. But have a great day, evening, night, wherever you are, future me. Talk to you soon. Okay, hold on. I just had to come back on the camera to say, because I just realized this about myself. Good fucking job, me. Good job. Pat myself on the back. Like, look, you're doing everything you dreamt of and everything you were trying to force yourself to do previously, but now it's just natural to you. Like, it's just organic. Like, you just are naturally motivated, internally, naturally motivated to do it. Like, look, good fucking job, dude. Like, you wrote a song today. I'm literally filming a video right now. Like, good job. Good fucking job, me. Like, oh my god, I'm so proud of myself, actually. Like, what the fuck? Like, I literally found these routines or, like, patterns or whatever to where it just comes natural. This is gonna work. This is gonna fucking work, dude. Like, look at me. I'm literally just doing it. I'm not having to tell myself to. I'm not having to force myself. It's coming. The results will come, dude. Keep it up. Keep it fucking up. Like, good job, dude. Oh my god. I just thought back about all the times that I would like tell myself, you gotta do your hours today. You gotta do your music today or whatever. Like, fuck that shit, dude. That shit is so annoying. Like, fuck that, dude. Like, You got it now. You found your way. You found your recipe for success, dude. Now you just gotta execute. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep making music. Keep making videos, dude. You found the recipe that works for you. So I just had to take a moment to say that to myself. Good job. Congratulate myself. Love myself. Pat myself in the back because yeah, I'm really proud. I'm so proud actually because yeah, I had so many things I could have done to spend my time today. Like I could have like fucking wasted my time doing so many other things, but I was motivated to make these videos and to make music. So good job, me. Love myself. Okay. All right. Wow, my hands. What the fuck? Okay, bye.